Hello there, my name's Mike. It's the 19th of December 2025. I'm in Bramcote Park near Stapleford in Nottinghamshire where I live. This is a video to introduce you to a new channel that I'm hoping to be putting out on YouTube and the like, chronicling a personal challenge of mine. It's a long-term challenge, and that is that in September 2028 I've committed to completing the Ironman Wales, which, for anybody who doesn't know what an Ironman is, this is like the ultimate triathlon distance. It's 2.4 mile swim in the Bay of Tenby, followed by a 110 mile bike ride around the hills of Pembrokeshire, and then marathon up and down the hills around Tenby as well. The reason this is a particular personal challenge of mine is that although I can run a bit, as I'll explain, I can ride a bike, but I've never done any kind of bike sports. I can't really swim. Basically, the story goes back to a slightly mad son of mine who just turned 18 in September just now. And in the build-up to his 18th birthday, he decided he was going to do this Ironman. Now, it's just very him to decide that not only was he going to do an Ironman, which is the hardest triathlon, he was going to do it at what is one of the hardest Ironman courses you can do, apparently. And he was going to do it 3 days after he turned 18. And in the it's like months building up to him doing it, obviously everybody was saying to me, well, when are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? Just as a joke, because I knew that there's no chance I could. And I was saying, well, I can't even swim, so obviously I'm never going to do it. But then on the day, the event itself it's so inspirational. It's such a brilliant event to go to. It's incredibly inspirational watching Alfie do it. You know, I was really proud as a dad to see him. And he had an email later confirming that he had actually been the youngest person ever to complete that particular Ironman. So I'm really proud of him for that. And that was inspirational to see your son do something like that. What was also inspirational, though, was seeing that there was, whilst there's a lot of people doing that event who look like what you expect an Ironman to look like, there's also a lot of people who don't. There were 70-year-olds crossing the line who admittedly did look very fit. There's also men who were clearly about my age who didn't look in the kind of shape you expect an Ironman to, and yet they completed it. And as I watched it and thought how inspirational this thing was, I thought, do you know what? The excuse that I can't swim isn't really a good one to not commit myself to something like that. So, combined with the fact that I've kind of like been lucky enough to be able to take a bit of a break from work from September this year, so I've got some time to think about it, I've just decided I'm going to go for it, because if I'm going to go for something massive, this is probably the best time in my life to do it. Okay, so I've moved about 100 yards from where I just filmed, so you can have in the backdrop instead this lovely building, Bramcote Leisure Centre, which is going to be the venue for the large part of my early stages of this particular challenge. I'm aiming for an Ironman, which is 3 different events. I'm going to sort of like go in reverse order, actually, because it goes swim, bike, run. When I think about where I'm at, run wise, I'm not actually too worried about it. I've never run a marathon, but I did sort of like, I don't know if I said to begin with, I'm kind of 45 at the moment. Right, I'm 45, not kind of. I ran the Robin Hood, the Nottingham Half Marathon, just over a year and a half ago. So I don't actually love running. My wife really loves running. She's done like ultra marathons and things like that. I kind of feel like I get what running's about. I've done a long enough distance running that I'd feel confident I could, with the right training, get that distance up. So the run's not too big a concern for me. From the bike side of things, I'm confident on a bike, as in when I was younger I used to bike around a lot. I used to bike to school, bike to see my mates, sort of like. So I've always been happy and comfortable riding a bike, but I've never done I've never owned a proper road bike or done any kind of sport on it. So I'm not worried about being able to ride a bike, but obviously I know I'm going to have to do quite a lot of training to develop the technique and stamina to be able to do 110 miles on it after a swim, and obviously I'm going to have to buy myself a decent bike at some point. So this is all dependent on me getting enough work in the future that I can afford this stuff. So run I'm not too worried about. Bike I know I'm going to have lots of work to do. But from the swim point of view, I would say I'm pretty much a non-swimmer. So I grew up in the Midlands, grew up in a place called Kenilworth. The swimming that I did when I was younger was pretty much, I never had, the only lessons I had was the kind of thing you did with your school, where we'd sort of like walk, probably, don't know if it's once a year or twice a year, to walk from a school down to, I think it's Crown Swimming Pools it's called, in Kenilworth, and basically splash through a couple of widths over the course of like a half an hour. I think I got my 25 metre badge by sort of like doggy paddling across 2 widths. And from then on I never really did much swimming, apart from kind of like occasional like going swimming with my dad or my family, and just sort of like, you know, but that's like splashing around playing sharks in the water rather than anything else. So I've never really developed much swimming. About 20 years ago when I was living in Sheffield, I kind of figured I should probably get better at this. I did take some adult improver lessons at that point, and that sort of developed me to have a stroke enough that I could complete a length. I think maybe at that time I could complete 2 lengths in one go, but that was as far as I got. And then I didn't really keep any kind of habit going, because I don't really enjoy swimming that much. And it's been a bit of a shame really, because I've got 3 kids, as I said before. I've got the eldest is 18, my youngest is now 10, and we've been on family holidays, and I tend to be the one sort of like staying waist deep in the water to sort of like watch that things are okay and lift kids up over waves rather than do any swimming or anything. So I've now taken up, now that I'm on this break in career, just a couple of months ago I took up adult improve lessons here at Bramcut, which basically means that once a week I'm doing widths of the 25 metre pool, and I've got instructors sort of like helping me with thinking about my stroke and things of that sort. To give you a sense of the baseline I was at, probably in that first lesson I probably managed in the course of 45 minutes, I managed to do 12 widths of the pool. Had a load of really helpful advice from the 2 ladies doing those lessons about the kind of things I should be looking at. I'm doing this all front crawl, I hate breaststroke. More over the coming months of what I'm learning about my stroke, and hopefully seeing those breaks reduce and the lengths increase. Okay, so it's Christmas Eve 2025. Just going to try and get a pre-Christmas haircut, because you can see I clearly need one. Just thought it's a good time to take note of where I'm actually at with the whole swimming stuff, so that I can think about what I wanted to have as my target for next year, New Year's resolutions and stuff. And given that I'm probably not going to get a chance to go down the pool much, if at all, really over the next few weeks, so what did I do? A few days ago I was able to, in about 35-40 minutes, I did 11 25 metre lengths with breaks of up to 1 minute 50 in between. So that's okay. Well, it's not that okay, but that's where I'm at with that. Width wise is I get more total length in, because I did 36 widths with breaks of more like 35 to 40 seconds in between. That's 12.5 metre widths, but obviously you've got the whole push off that means that it's not really swimming the whole way. So yeah, still quite a way off the 3.8k distance, but that's sort of like where I'm at now. It's improved, my stroke's improved at least over the 2 months since I started doing the lessons, and getting that number of widths in is definitely improved. And my plan is to try to be at least increasing each time I go. I'm trying to increase the number of what I've done, so next time I'll try to make sure I've definitely done 12 lengths, and to have the target whereby each time I'm trying to have less of a rest in between, so that I can get to that point where I feel confident to do a couple of lengths back to back and then build it up from there. So yeah, I'm hoping, I suppose with that sort of idea, I'm hoping that by about March kind of time, so 3 months, that I'll be able to do, I guess if by March I can be working at the point where I can at least do 4 lengths back to back, that'll be brilliant for me. Anyway, this is all the start. Hopefully you'll see this all change over the next, well, it's less than 3 years now, but yeah, the next 2.5 and a bit years. Yeah, and I've realised that if I'm going to do this as a bit of a YouTube thing, then I should probably be saying things like, if you like and subscribe to the channel, that'd be really nice, and more people will see it.